the cat and he got out! You told me to! You said the cat was getting on your nerves to let it out! Don't forget on me, old woman! They're gonna raid us again. We're gonna get raided again by the village of East Hampton. They get you for all sorts of things here. They could get you for wearing red shoes on a Thursday. Sort of things like that. I don't know if you know about that. Did you know about that? You look good, Al. Fantastic, actually. God, I hate wearing skirts. I believe if a woman wears a skirt, it should have hose, trousers on top of it, and a mid-length skirt over that. You know, I think about these things. The Libra man. The Libra man is passionate. He is non-judgmental, except in the cases for his family. The Libra man is organized. Oh! If I could only have a Libra man to manage me and keep me organized. Jerry, you remember when I first met you? I said Jerry is an Aquarius. You remember that? Aquarius. But I could only have a Libra man. Otherwise, it would end in divorce. Disastrous. And I don't believe in divorce. No. There are 3 things that I've come to care about. The Catholic Church, swimming, and dancing! Scene. Everyone,
woo.
I'm not trying to make fun of the inflicted, but I was moved to do it. Eddie, was I convincing at all?
Yeah, you're pretty convincing of me.
Okay, everyone, this sip and shop was a special one. I can't hear myself. It feels like I'm underwater, but I'm going to go with it. Everyone, welcome to season 3, episode 5, the holiday edition of Sip and Shop. I am your host, Andrea Fairweather Bailey. Look, Andrea Fairweather Bailey.
That's right, Bailey.
Ooh, and the voice is in town with us.
So I am.
It's the holiday edition, y'all, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, as we always like to open up the show, let's get our libations, please. This is probably still super hot, but it'll be great for my throat. Yeah, look, it's steaming. Yeah, under that black. Everyone get your mug, cup, glass, flute, solo cup. What else is there?
I think you said it all.
I did, right?
Yep.
As long as it's as as long as it is a healthy choice, because we want you to honor your temple. Thank you all for joining us today. It's an impromptu show. We're pre-taping. Eddie and I have much to do. Much to do.
That's right.
This weekend, and so we decided not to miss you, to just go ahead and do it now, and so you can watch it as many times as you like. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your positive energy. Thank you for being open to my opening skit. Thank you for allowing this platform for creativity, for health, being in our right frame of mind, and just for our connection, for your Saturday beauty break, your Saturday check-in, and definitely your Saturday refresher. Salud.
Salud.
I'm not sure if I could take this right now, but take a sip. Ooh, what is Andrea drinking? Sour sop tea. Sour sop tea, just to open up the immune system again, just to give me a little kick. And it's very clean, hot water and honey.
It sounds real healthy too.
It is very healthy. This came about, the thought to do this, because I didn't know what I was going to do for a skit. Last time in COVID, we did a musical number, right? And from Pippin, opening number, We've Got Magic to Do. And this time I got my hair cut about a month, more than a month ago, about a month and a half ago. And I walked halfway into the room, like all against the wall with my head wrapped down and chin strapped down like this. And I was walking in the room like this. And Eddie looked at me and started to laugh. And I was like, Eddie, shut up. And he was like, babe, you look like, what was that documentary we saw? And I was like, Grey Gardens? And he was like, yes. And I was like, Eddie, Grey Gardens. I'm going to do Little Edie from Grey Gardens.
Yeah.
And he was like, you are? And I said, I am. And I went back into like Mr. Abson's acting class, character breakdown, reading the backstory. Little Edie and her mother have the same name. It was Edith. Right. And she's Little Edie. Her mother is Big Edie. They lived in the village of East Hampton, in the rich village. They had no money. They were in squalor. They were in dire straits. They needed the money. That's why they did the Grey Gardens documentary. They lived amongst numerous cats, raccoons. The home was literally falling apart, dilapidated. Just, yes, you could imagine.
Oh my God.
You could imagine. Definitely mental illness between the two of them. And I said, I'm not going to make a joke of this. I'm going to really do rehearsals. So every day I was studying my lines, taking scenes and trying to make sense, taking fragmented scenes and making something out of them to present to you. And I took it seriously, wrote out my lines, tried to, break down character analysis, doing the voice, what was giving it to me. It was the head tie, this tightening in the throat, the red lips is not done precisely, but it's with Ruby from Fairweather Faces, gave it to me, the color. I don't wear things that show my cleavage like this. She did. So it's not about me, it's about the character. This, just her was very fascinating. And the whole thought about mental illness, and we said that this platform is a space for all to come to, specifically in COVID, to feel and believe that you're not alone.
Let me ask you a question though. Why was Edie like that? Tell them why Edie was like that.
The mother or the daughter, or both?
It's both of them. Yeah.
Okay. So the thing that I was discovering in the character analysis of what was her thing is that her mother was her antagonist. Her mother was the person that knew how to press her buttons and say things to her to get her going. Not just that, but the fact that they lived in a space that was raided numerous times by the village of East Hampton, kept her on edge because the mother was, you know, when you're older in age, you talk and you don't think about what you're saying to people. And so she was very loose with the mouth, Big Edie. But the younger Edie, the character that I played, is delusional in the sense of allowing these men, the director and cinematographer, Al was the director, cinematographer, a part of the team was Jerry, production team, into the space of squalor and acting like everything is okay. Her skirt, her dress, these raps for women makes you feel like an aristocrat. I know for me it does. When you have a scarf on like this, it does something to you. It shifts you.
Right. But to give the audience more context to those characters, these two women were socialites at one point in time, and they fell from that status when the mother got divorced, and they had this mansion. Well, the husband owned this mansion in Long Island. When he moved out, they stayed in there, but they couldn't keep up the mortgage because they didn't work. And
they were there for 50 years with no income coming in.
No income coming in.
Just depleting their accounts.
And the mansion was just dilapidated, and it was just an eyesore for the whole neighborhood. They were like the laughing stock of the neighborhood.
And not just that, what makes it so sad is that these raids that used to happen, they called them raids. And just the word raid, that invasion and violation, them being exposed like that was in the newspapers.
Yeah.
A magazine article, the New York magazine did a story on it, the expose on how bad it was for them, and that how could these women agree to go on camera when they had this mental illness? So it's kind of like a split. Some felt empathy and some were appalled by seeing it because they were living in such squalor.
Yeah, and remember this was made in 1975.
Right.
So this is in the
right, and it was filmed. Right, it was filmed between like 71, 72,
right.
And they said it was a disaster for them. Yeah. And Jackie Onassis was their first cousin, and her and her sister Lee ended up giving money to them to try to get the home up to code to be able to live in, because the health department came and they were living amongst, the home was heavily infested by fleas, numerous cats, raccoons living within it. It was filth, rot, and they were living with it. And I wanted to take it seriously and hopefully presented something to you to give you some kind of insight of functioning within dysfunction. I know that the sign is upside down on purpose because it was upside down for them. So I did that consciously. But the whole thing about mental illness, the revelation, when we speak about, do you have any revelations for the week? I had a heavy revelation due to this. And what it made me realize was, I was blessed to be able to explore a character and hopefully give you some type of insight and present it and make you hopefully believe something from it, to give a snippet of what she was possibly going through, little Edie. But at the same time, it made me realize that, I started feeling the grayness of the character in studying it. So it was getting a little difficult, and every now and then I got to put it down because it wasn't my life. It was an exploration of someone else's life.
Right.
But it made me realize about vultures, specifically culture vultures, that, you may see something that interests you, but you can take from that culture. It could be the dress, the music, the speech, the aesthetics of it, but you don't have to pick up the plight of what that culture goes through in their daily living. And it made me feel that way, the guilt of that for a moment, because I felt like I got to put down the plight of mental illness because I was just studying it. That's not my life.
Mm-hmm.
Studying it to be able to present to you today, but I got a snippet of that for a second, and I felt guilty just for that moment. You know, I don't know what you think about that, if you have any thoughts of it, but it made me feel that way, like for a second, of being a vulture for the mentally ill, like being able to go in, study it for a second, and then be able to come out when I choose to, because that's not my life. But I was able to choose snippets of it to present. And then the blessing is I get to put it down, but those that are mentally ill don't get to put it down. Like they're living and trying to function within, you know, that heartbreak, that burden.
Yeah.
It's deep. So I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
No. I mean, they, you know, I look at them as some rich white folks that were once rich that aren't rich anymore, and now they don't know what to do. So I feel bad for them to a certain extent, but yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty loaded. So hope you're gonna have wishing you all a fierce Halloween, and you know, not too much candy. I had a donut, a Krispy Kreme today.
Oh, nice.
That was my Halloween treat. I didn't buy any candy. I was going to. I didn't. I was like, not like we need any more. But, you know, I just had a little Krispy Kreme. The strawberry, I never get that. That sucker was sweet. Because about 10, 15 minutes later, I felt kind of woozy. I was like, child.
It's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, it was a lot. So I was like, good day to that. That's all I'm going to have. But let's find out what Eddie is watching.
Right now, I am watching Wu-Tang Clan: The American Saga on Hulu. I thought that I knew a lot about Wu-Tang because I've seen documentaries on Wu-Tang. I'm a Wu-Tang fan. I had Into 36 Chambers when it came out in '93. You know what I'm saying? I had the Purple Tape, Raekwon, not Supreme Clientele, but Ghostface Killer's first album. I forget the name is slipping my mind right. I think it's called Iron Man. I had that album, so I thought I knew what I needed to know about Wu-Tang. I had Meth's first album, To Cal, but watching that documentary, it's kind of told from the RZA's perspective. The Abbott, the head producer, the visionary behind Wu-Tang Clan. It's told from his perspective, and kind of how all their lives came together to make Wu-Tang Clan. And I think it's acted pretty well. I mean, Ashton Sanders plays the RZA. I think he does a really good job. He kind of goes into this RZA voice that sounds a little bit more RZA than RZA.
And stays in it. You know how hard that is?
Right. And stays in it. I didn't realize Ghostface Killer and Raekwon had a beef like that. I didn't know that Raekwon tried to kill Ghostface Killer. And I think it's pretty amazing how, you know, when you see Ghostface Killer or you see Raekwon, you think about the other, because they make each other's albums better. And so the fact that they're almost a duo, even though they're not technically, the fact that they're that, when they went through all of that stuff that they went through back in Staten Island, I think is pretty dope. So it gives you a chance to really look at their stories individually, and then how they came together. So Wu-Tang American Saga, if you're a hip hop fan, a fan of black voices, go check that out on Hulu. They're on season 2. I think it's episode 8. So yeah, it's definitely dope. We definitely enjoy it.
And here I go with the story. So many moons ago, back in the 90s, before, like a little snippet before I started Fair Weather Faces, because I had to, it was before that. So I was hanging out with a management team, Guy and Wiggs, right? Guy Route, who became a manager to Corey Glover from In Living Color.
Shout out to Guy and Wiggs.
Right. And so they were my friends, and I used to hang out with them like practically every Friday night.
Right.
They really like exposed me to a lot because they were older than me. But we did a lot, like the three of us, like in the city together. And one day they came to me, they came and picked me up, and they said, Ange, there's a rap group coming out from Staten Island. I was like, oh, please, Staten Island, like Staten Island trying to get on now. Like, nobody could touch Brooklyn, because everybody was coming out of Brooklyn. Buster was up the street in East Flatbush. Spliff. There was so many people, like, in my neighborhood. Kango Kid, UTFO. Everybody was coming out, right? So it was like Brooklyn and Queens, Staten Island. We weren't trying to hear it, and so when they said, I was like, Staten Island, child, please, and they said, no, Ange, it's gonna be. Some people call me Ange, like if you know me, you say Ange, like if you really know me, like that. And they said, and I said, well, what's the name of the group? And they said Wu-Tang, and I said, Wu-Tang, child, I'll give it a one album at best. They'll never make it with the name Wu-Tang. Good day to me.
I know.
They were looking at me like, okay. And they were cool about it. They weren't like, Ange, I'm telling you. They just kept saying, I'm telling you. It's really different what they're coming with. It's a different sound. It's a different everything, like concept, group. And how many members? That many? Splitting up all that money? Or I'll give them one album at best. Right. And that name Wu-Tang, it will never work.
It's still, and look at them now.
Mm-hmm. Me and my non-believing Brooklyn behind. Big mouth.
One of the probably arguably the highest grossing rap group
ever in the history of rap.
Possibly, yeah.
And what's really amazing is watching the whole concept come to being, because it was definitely a faith walk, specifically for RZA, because the vision was on him, and then he had to convince everyone to come on board, and watching the evolution of that.
Right, and the sound was different.
Right.
The sound was totally different. They were using kung fu sounds, basing that stuff off of kung fu movies, and RZA's beats, he used a lot of those heavy soul samples like no one did in the game, and so his whole style was different. And to come out there with that many members, and not only that, just think about it. The members that went off to be successful in their own right, Raekwon, Ghostface, Old Dirty Bastard, rest in peace. The GZA had a good album. Capadonna had a good album. Like that's a crew out of rap, out of hip hop that I think is bar none in terms of just the success stories that came out of one group.
Right, and then the forethinking of him to go, no, it's not just one we have to have control over all the solo albums that are going to come from this. It just can't be, even if they're under other labels, we still have to be the producers of it. We still have to, which was such forward thinking for someone that was not in the music business yet.
Yeah. But you know what?
He was doing music and building the foundation, but he wasn't in it in the sense of the making money yet. It was in the vision phase.
He wasn't in it, but I think RZA's advantage was because his sound was so different. I don't think a lot of labels knew what to do with it. And when you have a original sound like that, and when people don't know what to do with it, they kind of let you do your own thing because they don't know what to do.
Right. So you get to lead it.
And that's what I think the RZA had over, other producers or other MCs that came out during that time.
Right.
His sound was just ahead of his time, so much so that people said, "Yeah, I like it. I don't know what to do with it, so you can do what the hell you want. If it works out, it works out."
Whew, if it works out, it works out.
Yeah.
And so, this may be the fastest sip and shop we've ever had in the history to date. Again, we didn't want to miss out. We wanted to make this connection with you. Please get your libations for your final toast with us. If you like the mug, it's on the site right now. If you like the lip color, I didn't do it precise. I did it actually not even looking in the mirror. I just threw it on, sat in the chair, and said, Eddie, hit the button.
You black girl magic.
Ow! Ruby. Matte lipstick, very comfy, cushiony, bouncy on the lips, yeah. From Fair Weather Faces, and the In Beauty and Peace mug, because that is what we are wishing for you for this holiday weekend. That if you get out there, or even if you open the door, that it is positive energy exchange, whether it's like candy or just like trick or treat. You know, whatever you make it to be, please do it in beauty and peace. Everyone, thank you again for joining us. We always have a great time and so appreciative of you taking the time out to bond with me and the voice. Watch Wu-Tang. Have a beautiful, safe holiday. Halloween. Mm-hmm. It's not a holiday. It's a time. It's a spirited time.
It is.
Right? It's a spirited time for fun. Not danger, but fun. So, salute for your safety and health. Salute. I hate wearing a skirt. Sip and Shop Season 3, Episode 5, Halloween edition is out. Thank you all so much from Grey Gardens. The Grey Gardens. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great one and a safe one. In beauty and peace.